打仗然后就不知道特别就到我们连上来吃饭，特别那我本来是军官的。
Our meeting will start in 4 minutes.
连长对一下啊，这个某某人。
After they taking the photograph. Okay, good afternoon everybody. Meeting starts when we have the president to ring the bell to start meeting.
Welcome back everyone. Let's get the meeting started.
Forward test. All the Rotarians, please all rise. The forward test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
is the truth.
Second,
Is there no concern.
Third,
With the union and relationships.
Fourth,
With the beneficial of concern.
Thank you. Please sit down. Rotary song. May we have Pili Path to lead us.
Okay.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, he brought this monk to serve the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Thank you. In the news of visiting Rotarians and all of our guests, where we have Pili John.
Good afternoon, everyone. Long time no see. It's my great honor to introduce today's guest, Sabine. It's our PP before. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we don't have the Rotarian songs. Okay, now the next one. The President's time. May we have Pili. Very good, President.
PP sounds good.
We are
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. It's been a very busy, colorful, exciting the past 2 weeks. We had so many events. Let's do a review. Okay. First of all, this is hosted by PP Air and Rotarian Bravo. As for we already celebrated the Moon Festival. This is hosted by PP Ugly. The important part of this picture is that those dishes were made, handmade by. Is PP Ugly here? Yeah. From what I heard from Jennifer, that PP Ugly has been prepared these dishes for over a week.
Oh my God!
And she tried that for a week too. Hide and Seek, that's hosted by our IPP Lu in Sophia's children's restaurant. Very joyful. Our vocational visit in Dragon Steel, thanks to PP Steel, who's not here. Yeah, was a very funky experience. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and that's our international service that we cooperate with museum, right? Our Taichung Museum, Science Museum, and you see those kids. They're from our Interact. Yeah, they were there since morning, and then they helped all the way until we started, and then it was very meaningful. What's this? Oh, okay. This is another Moon Festival before meeting. Yeah. It's been a while, so but that's our main event. So everyone had a good time. Thanks to PP Skin and PP. I'm sorry, Sumin PP Air. Thank you.
You remember me?
Yeah.
And by the way, I talked to a PP Abe several times, and then he said he will be back on the first week of October.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one. Secretary's time. Okay, September board meeting will hold on later today after the regular meeting. So please, all the board members, please reserve your time to attend it. Next one, community service. Next week, 25th of September, next Wednesday, we will. Some of us will join the morning breakfast to Tucheng Elementary School in morning, and all the members, if you are interested, you can join with us to go there in the morning, 8 o'clock to 8:30. We will have breakfast with all the sponsored kids to having a breakfast together. And after that, we will go and check one of the family and talk to them. The next one, charter ceremony of RC Taichung Central. So it's held by group 1 or 2, group 5. Group 5's member, please, if you got time. That's on 12th of October, that's Saturday on the Lin Hotel. It starts from 5:30 in the afternoon. The next one, first outing. Our first outing will be held on October 26 to 27, 2 days to Jiayi. And accommodation will be Taocheng Cha Yangzi. Yes, and if you are interested, please sign up before September 20th. And today is 19th, so tomorrow will be the deadline. Thank you. Okay, so that's all about my part. The next, the main program. Now we have speaker introduction by IPP Lu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Seems like it's been a while since we had regular meetings, so our president and secretary missed their regular meetings too. It's my great honor to introduce our fellow Rtn, Ming. He is the naming leading architect of Studio-Based Architects. I believe that's the English name of this architect firm. He graduated from Donghai back in 1990 in architecture, major in architecture, and got his master from Harvard University in 1994. He's a licensed architect in Taiwan, New York State, and he's also an associate professor who's done many extensive teachings. Some of his experiences, I will leave this to him to introduce, but the more noteworthy ones, or he worked in I.M. Pace architecture firm back in 1994 to 1999 for 5 years, and he's done many interesting projects. He's also the outstanding architect of Republic of China, of Taiwan in 2017. And some of the noteworthy mentioning projects. This is voted as the best hotel or the most beautiful hotel in Taiwan, where our first outing will be staying at. 桃城茶样子. And thanks to him, I heard we got a very good discount room rate. So if you haven't signed up for first outing, please do so. And another interesting project we see on quite a regular basis may be Fagushan's Baoyun Shi. This is probably the most contemporary, modern shrine, Buddhist shrine I have seen. So it's right across from where I live. So when they were designing, or when they were thinking about designing a temple, a shrine there, a lot of people from the community were worried it's going to be a very religious building with a Buddha on top or something. So it was a very controversial project, I heard back then. So I think he did a very fantastic job, and it's becoming a local, we call it a landmark. Now, without further ado, I will hand the stage over to Ming. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, IPU Lu. Thanks for everyone. It is really embarrassing, and it's almost terrifying to speak about myself, and especially when I look back, there's so little to talk about. So I try to give my lecture a name. It's called "The Story of My Life in Half." Okay, because I'm 52 years old, so thank you. So it's probably half of my life if I can live up to 100. So that's where I got this idea from. The story of my life in half. By the way, this is my favorite picture. If possible, I would like to remain 6-year-old forever. The time frozen at that time, that would be great.
Were you eating something?
I was eating a green apple.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because I
where?
Well, where? Botanical Garden in Taipei.
Taipei.
Yeah. Yes. So I like food. Okay, and I was born on April 22nd in 1967. I was a Taurus. Yeah, I use this to start this because I've been fighting with my nature all of my life. As you know, if it's offensive, please forgive me. Taurus is a very lazy and very stubborn kind of. I don't believe in horoscope, but my nature is kind of lazy and stubborn. So I knew that when I was very young, so I tried to break through and try to fight against my nature all of my life. So this is me, probably 10 years old, right? So actually in this picture, two things still remain until today. One is my eyeglasses, the other one is my Audi. Oh. No, that's not mine. Some neighbors. Okay. And my family, I came from a very small family. My parents both came from mainland China. They're like a Civil War refugee, came in 1938 or 39. And in the middle is my older brother, who's 5 years older than me. And my mom was born and raised in a very, it's a very religious family. She is a very devoted Christian. And my father, until very recently, we know that actually my father is a Chinese Muslim. It's funny because he didn't let us know that we're from a kind of Chinese Muslim family until 2008. He took me to Hunan, where his family is from, and to visit his old family. And some of my family relatives came with white robe with white, the towels turned up in the head. Was like, what? And it's all there. And they look at me and they were so happy. They said, yeah, this one looks like Muslim. Because my brother went there ahead of me in 2006, and they think my brother is a handsome guy, looks like more like my mom. She's from Shanghai, so they look at me in a very kind of ecstasy. Say, "Wow, this is a real Muslim." I was like, "What?" Until that time, I realized where my long face and my big skull came from. Okay, so this is my high school years, and I went to the military service, actually 成功岭, so if you know. And this is my college, actually, my thesis review. Well, luckily we don't have to write essays, right? So for architecture students, you have to present a thesis project before your graduation. So this is me. This was me, okay, and my teachers and student colleagues all together. The reason why I decided to become an architect is that when I was in high school, I think it's cool. It looks cool to have a model and drawings on the wall every semester, not only a transcript to your parents, right? So I think that, well, at least when I look back, I know I did something. I have the model, I have a project, and no matter it's good or bad, so 凡走过必留下痕迹, right? So that's one of my reason to study architecture. And in that year, yeah, this is fun. In that year, actually, 1989, after the martial law got released in '88, I think, there's a great movie called City of Sadness, right, directed by Hou Xiaoxian, and it won the Gold Lion Award in the Viennese movie festival. And in that movie, actually, going to military service was a kind of no turning back. Right? At the ancient time, actually, it was very tense between the army and the citizens. So that's how we got this idea from. So we have the graduation photo, actually mimicking the City of Sadness poster. That's where our yeah, that was me. So very sarcastically, actually, all these people, including me, didn't go to the military service because I have a very serious, I'm seriously myopic, so I didn't have to go to the army. I only went to the 成功岭. Okay, but that year actually it's not my year of sadness. It's my year of happiness. I met my wife Anna in school, and my parents and Anna went to my graduation commencement. In '94, I graduated from Harvard. So this is my dorm, and all the Taiwanese students get together to take one photo. So there were about 13 Taiwanese students in Harvard. We have probably in graduate school, we have 500 students in total. We're a big school, design school. We have landscape, we have architecture, we have the urban design. So, this guy is the 亚洲大学副校长刘玉东, right? Alepo Liu, and台东县副县长张基义, Qi Yi Chang. They all did very good afterwards. And yeah, and I went working for Pace office for 5 years, and these are my boss. Mr. Pace is not there, and my boss and the Chinese clients coming to our office for a visit. They came here for the project. This is the project I was in charge of, the Chinese Europe International Business School, right? Why I was in charge of that project? Because the budget was very low. So they couldn't, so Mr. Pei is not involved. No, I don't do that. Yeah, but it turns out to be a kind of famous school in Shanghai now, the Pudong area. We use a very simple material and ideas to what do you say, to represent the Xiangshan Fandian, the hotel that Mr. Pei did long time ago. That was the kind of idea. And we did some financial institution in Indonesia and some schools. That's probably like institutional buildings and schools. Probably I involved most there. Then I came back. I worked for the Baocheng Jituan to design their headquarters. Now it's the Yuyuan Huayuan Jiudian. Altogether, I spent 2 years in the Baocheng Guoji Jituan designing the current system for the whole thing. And after that, at the same time, I got married to Anna, and this is our family member, Max. He's an adopted husky. We adopted him when he was 6 years old. His former master was the dog trainer, and tragically he got a car accident and died later on. So I got the call from his wife. We have a puppy, an old puppy. Do you want to adopt him? So we adopted Max in 2015, I guess. Before Max, we had another dog called Yo-Yo, who lived 14 years with us. And maybe some of you know that Anna is not only a musician, she actually is very devoted to rescuing dog, the stray dog business. So we sometimes we rescue dogs and neuter the dogs and put them back into the wild, or send them out abroad to America or Canada. Okay, 4 things that probably my hobbies, or 4 things that most important to my life: music, movie, museum, and travel. Like nothing special, like probably most of the members here. And okay, don't take me wrong. I sing. Okay, I do sing. I'm not a good singer as the TV pass, but the reason why I sing is that I cannot play a musical instrument well. Well, look at this picture. This is in the rehearsal room, right? Everybody was busy in tuning up their instruments. Only me taking photos, right? That's why they said, okay, so you can be the lead singer. I was desperately want to be featured in a rock and roll band when I was a high school student, because I think that looks cool and I can get girls' attention. So that's the thing. So, but my first performance was in the church, my mother's church, singing folk songs on stage. I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and this was 10 years ago, I think. We got a reunion for Donghai University. Our department got 50 years anniversary, so we all our band members got together and sing. I think since then I have not gone to any karaoke, and the newest song I've learned is a rotary song. Okay, so don't make me sing. Right. And movies, I like to watch movies, and recently, I think this one is worth recommending. The Grand Budapest Hotel, very funny. Yeah, and it's a beautiful film, very funny. So you can watch all together with your children, and all age are appropriate. And museum, actually museum is one of the building type I like most, because I studied modern art a little bit while I was in the graduate school, and I like to visit all kinds of museums while I was traveling. So I picked one of my favorite museums to share with you. It's called the Louisiana Modern Art Museum. It's in near Copenhagen. still in Denmark. And it was established in 1958, and look at the visiting numbers of visitors, right? Yeah, 500,000. It's 500,000 per year. It's actually very popular. But this is the museum entrance. You would just drive right past it if you don't notice. It just looks like any one of the farmhouses in near Copenhagen, except for this piece of sculpture. There's no sign of a museum. And when you walk through that entrance building, you see the coast. You see a beautiful ocean and a beautiful lawn with some famous sculptures gathering along the lawn, and go downhill, and you can see it's almost another building actually appears, and it's a restaurant. So you bought a ticket and you walk in for 20 minutes and you didn't see a museum. You just see the landscape and trees and lawns and the ocean. And now you finally found a building which looks like a museum, but it's not. It's a restaurant. It's a restaurant with a pier and a small harbor. It's kind of it's a very ordinary experience. It's nothing special, but that's why I like it. And when you approach the restaurant, people sitting outside enjoying the sunlight. It still doesn't look like a museum. It looks like somewhere really casual. And when you walk in, actually, you can find actually masterpiece. Right? This is the one from the Romanian sculptor. What's his name? I forgot. Sorry. And in the museum, there's a red brick on the paving, and you see the wood ceiling panels and a large panel of glasses. It's kind of very quiet and casual. And these are Brancusi's sculpture. Each piece probably worth $1 million, but there's nothing. You don't see some surveillance cameras. You don't see the lines on the floor. You just see a kind of, this is the kind of the lamp you will have in your dining area. Very ordinary and it's very approachable. And when you walk through the gallery, this one is probably like my most favorite picture. The walking people. This is the again the it's Giacometti, right? It's a Swiss Italian sculptor who like to make the sculpture the human figure really thin and like burned, just walking out from a fire, to depict the human situation after Second World War, right? But behind this sculpture, there's a big pane of glass showing the small lake and the natural environments. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful, and it's like a shadow, almost like a shadow walking on the water. And Champ de Buffet. And this is actually the museum building sequence, right? In the 1950s, it's only 3 different rooms for exhibition, and this is the entrance building. So the photo was taken from here. The first photo I took is from here. When you walk in, you can go along the corridors to visit all the exhibitions. But this is the after years and years expansion, this is the museum look like now. The secret not the secret, actually the strategy of this museum is that it builds around the trees, right? It doesn't cut any trees, and it builds around it. So it's a very linear museum right here. And in order to connect 2 different wings, it actually creates an underground passage. So it respects the environment very much. Right? I like this museum and his idea very much, and it's very casual, and it doesn't pretend to be a high art museum. is very approachable and make all the sculptures and all the arts right in the right position and where it should be looked like. For example, the photo I took with a big pane of glass and the lake and the sculpture here is right here. It's an extruding box. So this extruding box makes the human figure looks like walking on the water. And the last picture of this museum is this one. So how big is this tree? It probably takes 5 or 6 adults to go hand in hand to make a circle so you can embrace the tree trunk. It's huge, it's huge. I was probably like this big. So a good museum is not only a place to display all the artworks, it treats the environments like arts. That's I think that's the beauty of it. And so I like travel. So like everyone here, I travels a lot. I like to make traveling plans with my family and friends. And this one, actually, I'll share with you. It's called Ine. It's very close to Kyoto. It's called Ine and Boathouse. Anna and I traveled to this spot 2018, I think in April 2018, so it's about 1.5 years ago. It's a very small fisherman's village. I don't know if any of you have ever visited to Ine. It's beautiful in the summer, it's freezing in the winter, so don't go there in winters. Okay, so actually I think it's also a world historical heritage, this whole fisherman's village. It builds around the very narrow coast and back to the mountain. And these are the boat houses. So as you can see that everybody was living on the second floor. The first floor was for the boats. Although very few of them are still functioning right now. Most of them are B&Bs and hotels, right? But still they keep the original shape of the boat houses, and they keep the environment like before. And this is a picture too. So, well, I was thinking that if there's a reincarnation, the Lunhui, if there's the next life, I would like to be a seagull. Yeah, because the seagull, the seagull is never nearsighted, right? Has great vision, right? And it flies really freely. Or I would like to be an eagle, much better. So the eagle is taking the food from Anna's hand. The eagle use their paws, right? But the seagull use their mouths. Very funny. And so it's a very quiet and beautiful village. And Japanese actually go there a lot. People in Kyoto actually travel to there a lot on weekends. So don't go there on weekends. We were there on Friday, so it's very quiet, almost nobody, and you can rent a bicycle, and probably took 40 minutes to bike along the whole area. It's a very small village. So you can take actually a one-day trip or 2 days for one night, and that would be all. That would be enough. And we lived in the hotel with a hot spring, hot spring tub. And you can look at from this picture. It's very clear. The water. You can see all the things on the water. That was me, and sitting on the ground floor. There's no boat anymore. The ground floor of where we live is a cafe, converting to a cafe. Okay, so work. So finally, you can't always sing, you can't always play, you can always travel around, and you have to face the reality, right? So you have to go back to work. So this is where I work. I think PB Air and PB Lu knows where I work, right? We rented a top floor office area near Zhongzhen Guoxiao in Gongyi Road. And this is my office. We made a lot of models. We make a lot of models, and a lot of models actually are unrealized projects. Most of them are lost competitions or the client changed mind and all that. But we like to make models to not to only show our clients and to study how the buildings, how the architecture should be formulated. And so, it's a mess, right? This is our office with probably 14 to 16 people sitting on. This is my desk. There's no differences. All of the architects are very messy. I don't mean other architects. I mean, if we don't, it takes really hard work to clean up the whole office.
越描越黑.
Yeah. Can't help it. But this is the center point of our office. It's food. So, all the 中秋礼盒 is here. Okay, so I'll go really quickly about some projects we have done so far, and if the picture doesn't tell stories, I just jump out. Okay, so this is first project I got when I left Baocheng and started my own office in 2002. 东海大学 is for the College of Art and Literary. And this one is actually Foguangshan. It's an elementary school's library and administrative center. The site is quite beautiful. It's in Puli County. And this one is from our people, ITV. Yeah, our first job, I worked with ITV to convert this original building to this one. So if I heard that the president said funky, right? So we make a very serious kindergarten to a very funky or very fun building. This one is right behind the Metropolitan Music House, Opera House. And the second one we did with ITV Lu's Fengya Kindergarten. This is a really beautiful site and new developed area. And we try to create a curvious facade in the entrance to embrace the lawn and the playground. And we did some public works too. This one is near Zhongxiao Guoxiao. We actually redesigned all the school landscape, and we tear down the walls and we furnish all the pedestrian bridges. Right. Well, we work on these projects because it's kind of complicated because the developer of this building, the Chang'an Jianse, tried to feedback to the government in order to get more floor areas. So they select us to do this kind of 公益 beneficial act to the whole community. So the Urban Development Bureau can grant them, rewarded them some 2 more floors. And this is the Fagusan, the Damadrum Mountain Boeing Temple. And right now we're working with them on another project in New York to renovate their New York temple in near Flushing. And my first museum project in Zhanghua. This is the Zhanghua County Art Museum. And the idea of this museum is to respect the heritage of this one. This is Rtn in Zhanghua. It's it's a national historical heritage. So we create a very big platform. So all the citizens can look around, can walk around here and look at the Rtn without paying for tickets. And this is an ongoing project in Jiayi, our second museum. It's almost finished. Probably next year, in next June, it will be opened. The story of this building is that in a Japanese colonial period, it was looked like this: a 3-floor and 2-floor building connecting together. But during the World War II, this one got bombed and destroyed really badly. So after that, they built a warehouse right next to it. It's very ugly. But this one was appointed to the National Historical Heritage. So we have to do an expansion of this building and reuse the whole building as a museum. That's the idea. And the headquarters and the flagship of a giant sales company. Oh, I don't know if you have ever heard this. If you came from the Henan Road, right, you will see there's a ramp wrapped around the building from the ground floor to the second floor. Originally, we designed the ramp goes all the way around to the top, to the sixth floor, and to represent the bicycles, very like riding up, right? Then they really loved the idea. But one day, the president of Giants, the Yao De, right, came to us and said that, what if people ride, down slopes and all around? What if they fly out of a building? So you have to change the design. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, for safety reasons, we don't want any trouble involved. So make it up to only second floor. But that's how this elevation came from, all the ramps. And this one, everybody will visit right in the next outing. I hope you can enjoy it. Actually, it's a really small hotel and with small rooms, and yeah, I hope you like it. And we did another hotel near the train station, Gongyan. And we worked with the Portuguese architect on this one in Taifeng 高尔夫球场. It's a clubhouse for a golf course. The second one is still ongoing, under construction. It took a really long time. It took us 10 years to finish this project. So there are a lot of stories to tell, but not in public. Not good stories. And we did some factories. This one is in Hsinchu, 科学园区. And yeah, police station we did too. That was really weird. I don't know why, but during that time in 2005 to 2008, we did two police station projects, and this one was Joy's, the Joy's factory, Joy's tape, right? PPG. PPG Joy. Okay, great. And we did some private residences. This one is in Qingshui. Oh, not me. Not my house. And this one is the Rotarian Team's house. So near Qishi area. And some other. Well, the reason why we did so many smaller projects later on, we did smaller and smaller, right? Smaller projects is because we actually branched out to start another construction company in 2013. And we tried to do the turnkey services to design, building design, interior design, and construction all together. But we don't have many people, so we just take very small jobs and design only by ourselves. And this was the first project we did in Puxing. It's private residences. It's raw concrete and just stone facade and raw concrete and some bristle. And we did some. This one is for a very small office buildings, Su Tailaw's headquarters near Shuilu. And we did a cafe in Shigang. It's right across the street from what do you call it? The Dongfeng 自行车, the bicycle corridor. Dongfeng 自行车. This one is all wood. Everything is made by laminated wood, and the interiors are all decorated with wood because the owner actually was doing wood furniture, so he prefers using wood to finish the whole project. So that's the thing. That's our my colleagues who are together. Okay, so this is the last one. No politics, right? So, right. So as IBB Lu kindly introduced that, I got this award. Actually, I got the award last year. I met with the President Tsai, right? You rarely see her smile, right? So she only smiles when she talks about her cats. Right? But we're not talking about cats. We're talking about her, because her father actually used to be a developer in Taipei. So we talk about making buildings and selecting tiles for her father and all that. So to make her feel like more confident, right? Yeah. And less defensive for her. So that's what we do. So actually, this is my last slide, and it's also showing why I'm here, because after the award, I think probably my life and my professional life has reached the kind of a mountaintop, right? One top, and since then I can only go downhills. So that's why I made the decision to join the Rotary Club. So with your help, probably can lift me up a little bit, let me walk downhills a little bit slower, not so fast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Now we have President Jess to present the gift.
Ta-da!
Yes, our photo.
Great.
没有红包吗？
舍友没有。
Okay. No.
Oh, yeah.
Q&A. Anybody want to have Q&A? That was a wonderful speech. So, does anybody want to change your house or rebuild your house? No? Okay. Okay, Skip.
Yes, please.
Yeah, about this picture, you build this, it's a temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of philosophy or idea you want to express?
Okay.
It totally didn't look like a temple.
Right. Actually, because the Dawn Mountain, their central idea is Zainism, right? It's a Tanzong. So they don't want it to look like anything else. They don't want to use the building to talk about the Buddhism. They just want it to look like what it should be. And actually, the building is not the temple. It's more like an educational institution, because most of the floors are classrooms for practicing Buddhism. Right? And only the second floor, only the third floor are and the top floor are Guanyin Dian and the Grand Hall. And all the floors in between are like conference room, the classroom, and offices, and the galleries and all that. So, in essence, it's not really kind of a place only for practicing Buddhism. It's more like a school, or more like an office building. That's number one. That's it. So actually, our client doesn't want to make it look like the traditional temple and doesn't want it to look like anything else. But second of all, they wanted to merge into the environment. So if you walk around the area, actually, it does. We actually use the materials and the colors actually resembles all the colors around in the neighborhood. So it does a little bit look like an office building, a little bit look like the residential tower, but it's not. It's neither. And the third thing, actually, these two are circulations, right? Elevators and ramps and stairs. So we make these two taller, like a tower, two towers. And this glass facade is actually inclined. If you take a look closely, it's not a straight facade. It's like inclined towards the back. The idea of the inclined curtain wall facade is to make a tribute to the old building, the old temple building. If you look at the roof, the old pitch roof of the temple building, it's always inclined and with the 瓦片, right? Like all that. So we use the glass panels, like the roof tiles, to scatter around. So every single line of the roof tiles, the glasses are extruding with another one. So it's one go on top on the other one. It's a kind of detailed thing. But
so more or less like a tower.
Almost like a stretched temple.
So it has nothing to do with waterfall. I always thought it's like a waterfall.
Waterfall. 你有慧根? No, really, because the 法师, our client told us, yeah, it makes me think of the 观音殿 right here. The 观音, how do you say it? Spreading 一支杨桃水, right? 向外传佛法的 water. So the waterfall can just go down. Oh yeah. So Pipilu, you're right. I should hire you as a consultant. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it was really good, except I don't like to hear the 50 now going down.
Okay.
I think actually, interacting with interesting Rotary people will probably inspire you to keep going up.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Just like I can't believe you're 72 years old. You look younger.
So flattering.
No.
I'm on.
I know.
Well, I noticed like there are a couple buildings of yours have the same. I don't know how do you call it, symbol or
Style.
they all have like really big square window. Does that mean anything to you?
Yes, actually, that reminds me I have to do a little bit breakthrough, right? Because I'm a Taurus, I'm a really kind of squared, I'm a very 拘谨, right? No, actually, that's one thing. And the other thing is that actually I do, when I practice more and more, I try to take things out instead of putting things in more and more. It's like more like my design philosophy is taking the necessary things out in order to keep it really simple, because it's really a lot of things to do, and you have to put it into your concern. Building a building is really complicated, and for people past 50s, I mean, it's really a big trouble. It takes a lot of heart and soul to work on that. Okay, so my answer is that I try to make things simple, and I try to make things all the necessary things stay, the necessary thing goes, and I try to keep all the things, all the procedures for construction or for design going really smoothly for everyone, not only for myself, for the clients and the governments also. That's actually my goal actually. So more and more involved in this business, and it actually I feel like studying architecture is very simple. It's a very simple wish when I was a kid, right? So I only did it for myself. I liked architecture, so I want to study it, and I went abroad to study architecture. But when I practice and when I step into this business, I think it's for others. It's not for myself. It's not because people give me money to design, or not because this is their building, not because of that. Because when this thing got built, the land is not empty anymore, right? It's gonna be there for 50 or 100 years, and it has all the influences to its neighbors and all the citizens and all the users. Nothing about me. So my role is to make sure things don't go wrong for the next 50 years and next 100 years, including the aesthetics and the visual things. So that's why I try to keep things really simple. Yeah, I don't know if you can.
One more question.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, because you were saying you went to the Vienna's museum. Have you been influenced by American architect Frank?
A lot.
Yeah. Was one of the, because one of the American architects called Frank Wright. Have you been influenced by him? Because he's also put a lot of ideas about.
Frank Lloyd Wright. Yeah, I wish I was influenced by him.
Because he also had the same idea as what you're saying, because like how to adopt the environment and to make sure the building is there. It's also like it's like a beautiful symphony with all the trees and laying together.
Yes, of course, because Frank Lloyd Wright was the kind of master, right? A master of modernism architecture. So he was like probably one of the American masters, one of the most important architects in the 20th century. So he was in our textbook, right? So of course we were kind of influenced. But the thing about what he does to modernism is that he doesn't only follow the doctrines or rules of modernism. He tried to incorporate the American elements or culture into the modernism, because as you know that the modernist architecture are from Europe, especially East Europe and Germany, right? So actually when the Americans embraced the modernism with the white walls, skyscrapers, and Frank Lloyd Wright actually go against it. He still used the same principles to design the building, but his building always looked different with the American spirit. So that's one thing I really admire. Okay. Okay, I talk too much. Sorry.
Thank you. Next.